I love your feet because they have wandered over the earth and through the wind and water until they brought you to me. Our feet carry our journeys. They hold our stories. From the first steps we take through childhood and into adulthood. Every step records a sound. Every step holds a memory. It's through our movements our lives grow and change. And it's our feet that carry us through all life's joys and pains. This is the sound of Little Feet. A podcast about identity and family. Orphans, foster care, and adoption. A little bit of wonder and awe, and the power of healing through play. These are the stories of people like you and me, and the journeys all of our feet have traveled to be here today. For a few minutes, just put everything down and come with me. Let's go on a treasure hunt together, and let's just see if we can find ourselves some gold and diamonds. Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Sound of Little Feet. Bryony, thank you so much for coming on to The Sound of Little Feet.
Thank you for having me.
It's an honor. Okay, so I think you and I first met around 3 years ago. We met at a Mirai no Mori summer camp up in Miyagi-ken. So that's in the Tohoku region of Japan. And since then we've gotten to spend more and more time with each other at different Mirai no Mori functions. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background?
So I'm from New Zealand, and I first started studying Japanese when I was 12 at high school and university. And the first time I actually came to Japan was my final year of university when I was 20. And so I went back home, finished my degree, graduated, and went to Europe. And I lived in Europe for a few years. In Russia, Scotland, England and Ireland. And then I went back to New Zealand and worked for a bungee jumping company.
Oh, nice.
I've always loved the outdoors and adventure. And then I came on the JET program to Japan. I was first in Hokkaido for 4 years because I love snowboarding. And then after 4 very cold winters in an uninsulated Hokkaido house, I decided to move to Honshu because...
Can you share a little bit about why you decided to spend part of your summer at a Mirai no Mori camp and with these children?
So I first got into summer camps in Hokkaido, and they were the highlight of my year. Though when I first moved to Saitama, I kept doing camps in my summer holidays, at first through my original dispatch company. And then one of my friends started working for English Adventure, and one of my other colleagues wanted a summer job, and so I recommended English Adventure to him, and then he started working for English Adventure and recruited me to work for English Adventure.
And can you tell me a little bit about what is English Adventure?
So English Adventure is a summer camp for it can be for anybody from anywhere, but it's mainly for Japanese kids who have lived abroad and come back, or Japanese kids who want to improve their English. And in the outdoors, in a natural setting, in a natural environment. And through English Adventure, I was almost immediately introduced to Mirai no Mori because my trainers at my first training session were Jeff and Kozue, who are heavily involved with Mirai no Mori and helped to start Mirai no Mori. Yeah, so from the moment I saw the brochure and heard their passion for Mirai no Mori, it was very contagious.
So for you, the viewers at home, actually, English Adventure was founded by Dave Paddock, and Dave Paddock and Jeff Jensen actually co-founded Mirai no Mori. So that's why there's such a tight relationship, and a lot of the English Adventure staff and the Mirai no Mori staff have crossed over many different times. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's how you heard about Mirai no Mori. And so what have you taken away from your time at Mirai no Mori? Being a leader and getting to work with international staff and getting to work with so many amazing kids who come from a lot of tough backgrounds and who are dealing with a lot of really tough issues as well.
It's been an amazing journey. So I only did one summer camp, and that was in 16. But since then I've been involved in a lot of day programs and events, and so I keep seeing the same kids I met at camp. Camp was a really intense experience because, like you say, these kids have come from really tough backgrounds and they have a lot of tough issues to deal with. And Mirai no Mori was still developing its programs a lot at that stage, and the day programs were relatively new, and so a lot of the kids only saw Mirai no Mori stuff once, maybe twice a year, whereas now there's events almost every month, and so we get to see the kids regularly, and now it feels like it's a family rather than an organization. And the kids are opening up more and more all the time, and the most touching moment for me was when I did the half marathon last year. That was fundraising for Mirai no Mori, and we ended at just near one of the orphanages, and the orphans came down to meet us, and then they took us back to their orphanage, and one of the kids who had been at camp did a speech to welcome us, and it was a 2-page English speech, and his pronunciation was incredible, and he was so proud and eager and passionate about speaking English. And the same kid at camp had been quite outgoing, but nothing like he was that day, and just seeing the change in him, it was really heartening. I cried when I was listening to his speech and get a little bit emotional just talking about it. Yeah, so that was really magical. And also, as I was walking from the finish line to the orphanage, I was helping a little boy who had never been to a Mirai no Mori camp because he was too young. He was only about 4 years old, and he was quite a high needs boy, so Kozue asked me to take special charge of him and make sure he got to the orphanage. And so we were lagging behind everyone else at the back, and at times I'd pick him up and carry him, and we were chatting all the way in Japanese because he barely spoke a word of English. And then halfway to the orphanage, he just yells out, "Gaijin daisuki! I love foreigners!" And I was just like, woo! And at that point I realized that these kids that live in the orphanages, almost every adult they interact with is paid to work with them. They have their care workers, they have the cooks and cleaners, they have the teachers that they learn with at school or at cram school, but there's almost nobody in their life that's there by choice. And so that's where Mirai no Mori is like a family. And I've also realised, because of the high turnover in many care worker facilities, that some of these kids know Kozue, Jeff and Toshi and you longer than their own staff and teachers or anybody else in their lives. So Mirai no Mori really is a family.
Yeah, you said that perfectly. I think from the very beginning that has been their purpose, is to build up their program so that they can have it year-round and see the kids year-round and develop a family-like relationship with kids. So I'm glad that's how you feel.
Yeah, it's magical, it really is.
Mirai no Mori was built on the premise that they wanted to bring children into nature because they believe that nature has something special in a way that a normal, I guess, summer camp or no program couldn't reach these children. So in your opinion, how has nature impacted these children's lives? Or how has Mirai no Mori used nature to impact these children's lives?
There's a sense of every time you go outdoors into a beautiful wilderness area that it's like a fresh start. And I think the kids feel that sense. And there's also a lot of equalizing factors in nature because even adults can be scared of bugs and children can be braver than anyone. And people get a chance to see different sides of their personality that they don't see in a classroom. And even now, if I'm stressed, the best way to recharge and refresh is to get up.
Yeah, so that was my next question. What does nature, what does outdoors mean to you? It sounds like for you it's a way just to get everything out.
So I read a really cool cartoon just a couple of weeks ago saying that the best way to recharge is in nature, and so many people are focused on recharging their phone and their equipment, but really to recharge yourself, the best way is to get out under the big blue sky, and it's so true. And
so I kind of already touched on this, and you already touched on this, but do you feel that nature plays a role in helping children living with trauma to become more trusting, resilient, brave, and adventurous?
of course, there's no doubt that people get a new sense of self when they're in the outdoors, and so I think in the outdoors you can learn new skills really quickly and totally different skills and realize that there's different ways of doing things, and you also bond with people in different ways. So one of my favorite experiences ever was doing the stream hike at camp. He had shoes that were too big for him, so he kept tripping over. He had shorts that were too big for him, so he had to have his life jacket clipped, and people kept going to unclip it because it's not that comfortable for a boy to have a clip between their legs. But I would say, no, don't, because his shorts would automatically fall down because his clothes were ill-fitting. And so I stuck with him the whole way through the stream hike because he really needed a lot of help, but he did most of it himself. And at first he was quite negative and he was really struggling, but then at one point he started singing, and he just kept singing, and I just went along with it and just kept walking with him. And then when we got to the end, there was the waterfall that you jump off, and he wanted to do it so much, and all the superiors, all the senpai, all the seniors were doing it, and he really wanted to do it, but he was so nervous and so scared. So I said, if you want, I can jump with you. And he backed out so many times, and then finally we jumped. And when we got to the bottom, his friend, who's one of his seniors from his home, went to give him a high five, and he was so excited he lost his footing and couldn't keep his balance, and like he was like, wait, and then he made sure he had his footing, and then he gave his friend the high five, and he was like beaming and so proud of himself. And then on the way home, you and I ended up walking with him and holding his hands. And he was singing like cartoon songs the whole way. And he was elated and he was the happiest ever. And he started off that hike so down and really not enjoying it. And he came out thinking it was the best experience in the world. So I think when anybody gets a chance to have a fresh start like that, it's pretty magical. And I've seen it over and over again with Mirai and Mori, kids getting over their fears, trying new things, and realising they're capable of so much more than they ever believed possible. So every time I see it, I'm heartened. And I've also realised how much it does for me as a person too, being involved with this amazing organisation, which is like a family. Every time I see the kids and the other staff, I feel an immense bond with everybody. And Mirai Nobody's like the family we choose.
And then I guess going off of that, can you share your definition of what a family is for you?
So, a family is the people you're born into, but it's also the people you choose to surround yourself with in your life. So I find living abroad, family is your friends most often, but family at home is irreplaceable, and working with the orphans has made me treasure my family more than ever, because nobody has a perfect family and we all have our issues and challenges in our lives, but at the end of the day, my family loves me and I love them, and I'm very lucky to have them. And when I see these orphans, especially when they're older and they're getting to the age of 18, where they're going to have to be independent and totally self-supporting without any one individual that's focusing on supporting them and helping them through those challenges, my heart almost breaks. I can't imagine how tough it must be for them. And I think family is one of the most amazing words in the world, and we're all very lucky to have the family we do have.
And touching on family, would you mind sharing a little bit about your own family?
So my family is quite an interesting family. Both my parents were brought up Irish Catholic, so I have over 35 cousins. So I always grew up with a big family, and it was really fun and amazing when we had family gatherings. So I think family is pretty special, and I feel very lucky to have such a big, lively family. I'm not sure if you want to imagine 30 of me, but it can get pretty crazy at times. But they're not all like me. But a lot of them are pretty outgoing and boisterous. My parents had 4 kids together, but my oldest brother was born soon after they were together, and they weren't married, and they decided to adopt him out. And so growing up, I knew I had an older brother somewhere. But I wondered how he was, if he was okay, what his family was like. I always wondered what he was like, and if I would know if I met him, if I would recognize him. And then when he was adopted by a really lovely family who had adopted 2 boys, because they'd had 2 girls of their own, and then they couldn't have any more children, and they'd adopted 2 boys. And the oldest boy had turned 18 and my brother had turned 16. And so they decided to contact the birth parents at the same time so the boys could go through it together. And so I was 11 when I met my older brother, and he was just like my second oldest brother who I'd grown up with. And so I was just instantly attached to him. He was instantly part of the family, and he was really welcomed into my dad's family who lived nearby, and he lived near us, and he worked at an amusement park called Rainbow's End when we met him and gave us free tickets. And so me and my brother went, and I can't remember which brother had it broken out, but one of them had it broken out. And everybody kept bumping into us and saying, when did you break your arm? Or didn't you have a broken arm? What, is your arm better already? Because they thought my brothers were the same person because they were so alike.
Wow.
Yeah, and so one brother was working and one brother was with me, and everybody thought they were the same person, and it was mind-blowing.
Wow.
And yeah, from then on he was just my brother, and I chose my university so I could go to the same university as him.
Wow.
And I lived around the corner from him, and we got to know each other really well.
That's great.
Spent quite a bit of time together, and
everyone's got an ache, every heart is bound to break, everyone's trying hard, meaning well, falling